Hey everyone, it's your brother Zen, and I'm bringing you more messages of love from above today. This reading is going to be for the Scorpio season, since that's starting here on October 22nd and will go through November 21st. I also completed a autumn equinox reading back for September, so it's going to be for about 3 months. So I'll link that in the box below as well, if you want to check that out. What I'm going to do on this one, what I like to do around the seasonal change for the zodiac signs is I do like a collective reading for everyone, just to see what kind of messages we'll get for around October 22nd to November 21st. And then I do a special kind of birthday reading, happy birthday Scorpios, for those that have a sun sign in Scorpio or rising sign as well. And if you're not sure what your sun, your rising sign, or your moon sign are, I'll also link that in the description box below, a site that you can go to get a free one to find all that out. And of course the third one, like I mentioned, for the moon sign, for those that have their moon sign in Scorpio, also have the a little special reading for you. So we'll go ahead and jump in and get started. All right, for the collective reading for everyone on the planet for the time period between October 22nd and November 21st, this is going to be that reading. I'm going to start off by, I combined these two decks from Kyle Gray into one huge one, so I'm going to pull a card, or if maybe two come in, but you know, it's huge. Bah! So we'll go ahead and shuffle here and see what messages the creator and his posse, her posse, have for us. All right. Glad I have big hands. All right. So what messages do you have for us for that period of time there? Okay, that is a little too many messages. I'm sure we need a lot of messages for that period of time. We have a lot going on here, especially in the United States, with our political elections, and COVID is getting itself taken care of, hopefully. All right, and this one flipped out here, so we'll take a look at this one. And this one is called Winter. What do you know? And take care of your needs. So I'll put that right here. So it'll be kind of the focal point of our reading. And let me just still read from the little book here. So Winter says, do everything you need to be at your best. Then move beyond your fears and limitations. For many of the animal realm, winter is a time of hibernation and retreat. You may wish to curl up in a ball, too. I know, right? But although you may not feel as bright as you'd like to be, a primal force within is encouraging you to continue. The Winter card features a wolf, one of the few animals that may stay active all year round. Wolves know what it's like to work alone or thrive within a pack. So, if you feel the need to go it alone at this time, know that wolf medicine will help you move beyond your insecurities and relax in your own space. And then there's also an extended messages which says, you have an opportunity to move beyond your fears. Although you may feel in the dark, get comfortable with being in the unknown and trust that the light within you will sustain you through what may seem a challenging process. Ask yourself what you need to do to feel supported and alive. You may uncover something from your past that you have buried deep. Know that when you unearth it and shed light on it, you create space for miracles. You may feel like a lone wolf right now, but it's time for you to be the alpha. When the Winter card arrives in the future position of a spread, or as the last card in a reading, it can also indicate that the coming winter will usher in important energies with regards to your question or intentions. Awesome. Well, that's perfect, right? I know there's times we all feel like lone wolves and, feel like everything is just enclosing in around us, and sometimes we want to hibernate, sometimes want to be alone, sometimes we want to run with our pack. So we'll get some more clarification. I'm going to pull some cards from my personal oracle deck that I'm working on with the creator right now. It's not yet available for the public, of course, yet. So we'll just going to do some shuffling here, and then let's see what we want to pull. Kind of what I feel I want to do. I'm going to pull 3 cards. One is going to be where we're coming from, that's kind of bringing us into this time frame, for this Scorpio season. So where we're coming from, and then the middle card will be more of kind of what we'll be dealing with during that month period. And then kind of where that's going to lead us on to, and kind of have us start to think about for the first week or so at the end of all that. So, all right, so we'll pick the first card first here. Oh, there we go. So the first card coming out is the Crown Chakra. And what a wonderful card, because this is the, the chakra at the very top of our heads that connect this human body into, the spiritual world. So it's about mastering our, life and integrating unconditional love, remembering who we are, remembering that place of bliss, being the butterfly in the sky, not the caterpillar crawling along the jungle floor, but having gone through some transformations. And we're now a different animal, you can say. We're the same being, but we're just seeing things from a different perspective. So, and I can really, what I really feel from this is so many messages coming in of, really this year has transformed us. It's almost like we were forced to be in a cocoon a lot, and it's all for a reason, though, because within the cocoon, the caterpillar starts to dissolve parts of itself to transform from a caterpillar into a butterfly. So during all these times for all this year, where just so many things have come to our face, really about everything that we use to define ourselves, whether it's jobs and finances and relationships and the ability to do things, in groups, and health, and, what hasn't been brought to our face to challenge, our beliefs about how things are supposed to be. And, it's really transformed a lot of people. And some of it's through fear, and it happens. This whole experience on the jungle floor is about fear, having enough to eat, having, not being picked off by a bird coming down to grab you, and having shelter from storms and everything else. So, the whole journey of all that fear experiences that we had on the jungle floor as a caterpillar had us go into our cocoon, and the transformation. So I don't think anyone can move through 2020 without having some sort of transformational change happen in your life. And what's amazing is, I always say I've met 100% of my challenges up to this point because I'm still alive, and if you're still here and you're still listening to that, then you've done the same. So, kudos to you, and high five and fist bump and everything else, because, you've made it through up to this point, and we're very strong individuals. The message, it talks about is returning to who we really are. We're powerful, eternal, supernatural spirit beings made of unconditional love. So, a big contrast for this year, and what's bringing us up into our current situation has to do with being shaken awake and questioning, who are we really, and what am I really here for, and what's important to me, and all that. So it's really a good place to be at, even though it scares the crap out of us sometimes. It's like, you know what, I wanted to be awakened to a lot of things right now, and we don't take subtle hints too well as humans, so we really need to have it really shaken up, sometimes. One of the things I'll include here, there's a meditation on here about I am unconditionally loved, and I'll link that in the description box below too, because I think that is a message just to remember. It's like we come to a fork in a road. Am I going to believe that I'm unconditionally loved by the creator of all things, or conditionally loved by the creator of all things? And the world of the caterpillar is conditional. Love can be lost, and that's why fear reigns. But when you align, vertically with the creator, that is, I am unconditionally loved. This is stability. This is instability. So that's where we're kind of coming from and coming into here. So let's see next what what our month is going to kind of focus on, and or what the creator is recommending to do that. And then there's the third card already, so we'll just put these over here. So the second card is I unconditionally love the world. And wow, I can totally see how this is going to be our challenge, or our really just a challenge, because like I mentioned, everything that's going on, especially between October 22nd and November 21st, there's just going to be so many conflicts to our beliefs of what are supposed to be, and we're going to be judging the world by our conditions, whether it's political and everything that's unfolding with that. I mean, that alone is going to rattle our cages, and it's going to bring to our face, am I going to, allow the love from above to come down and fill me up and show me that I am unconditionally loved? And then we fill up, in our heart, full of unconditional love, to where it flows out to the world. And then we can unconditionally love the world. And I'll link. I'm going to link all. I have 4 meditations that are about what I just mentioned, and the 4th one is that the world is unconditional love. And it's just a huge awareness when we realize, there's 2 perceptions that we're living in each moment. It's either of unconditional love or the fear of losing conditional love. And when we're in fear, we're going to attack, and we're going to feel confused, and we're going to feel we needed to defend, and or freeze and run. All those fear-based emotions that come up with anger and resentment and sadness, and it can lead to depression. Just because of all the disappointment of all our expectations not being met. Or we can move through with unconditional love, knowing that, I trust the creator of all things, that life is happening for me, not to me. And when we can trust that we have everything we need inside us, then we know, that we can trust the timing, we can trust the play that's going on around us, and all the characters that are being brought to our face are for us to question, why am I feeling that way? What am I afraid of? And just releasing that into the hands of the creator. We can be still and sit in love and joy and peace, that's our true natural state as, spirit beings, is love and joy and peace. And unconditional love, not conditional love. So what a wonderful, representation here that this is going to be a month where we can take a deep breath when we're feeling those, emotions, arise that are uncomfortable, and just take as many deep breaths as we can to calm down and just ask, what am I fearing? And kind of rooting just our lives in the unconditional love of the Creator of all things. Search inside, because that's where the love is that we're searching for, is inside, not outside in the world, because the world is unstable. I always say, if we define ourselves by the external, we feel unstable, because if it's by people change or pass away. Situations never stay the same, and things deteriorate, break, or are stolen. So if we're defining ourselves by those external things, then we feel unstable. But if we define ourselves by the one stable thing, which is the unchanging, eternal, unconditional love of the Creator of all things, then you just come to this place of peace and stability. So, what a wonderful message for that. That'll be our main focus for October 22nd through November 21st. And then with that experience, where we'll kind of be looking at, and this is from the stack of this deck that I have, it's about how is unconditional love being expressed, how we can focus on how it's being expressed to us and how can it express it to others. And the specific card is about in service of love. And that's based on the 5 languages of love, on how a lot of our human ego likes to receive love. And this one is when people do things for us, when they're, without us having to ask and beg, or them doing it begrudgingly, but, giving acts of service without telling anyone, just doing something special for someone that just makes their day a little easier, whatever that might be. And I wouldn't limit to, any particular way. Just follow your heart and express your unconditional love and service to others in the world, and just doing acts of love is what this would bring us into through that challenge. So what a wonderful period of time, and that would bring us into around Thanksgiving. So woohoo! I'm going to end this portion of the reading with one of these. It's the Universe Has Your Back cards, which I absolutely love. They're just so awesome, and what a great just wonderful backing, knowing that the big kahuna and all the posse has your back. All right, what's the final message for the collective for the Scorpio month? And I think I'm going to take this one right here. It says, when I lean toward love, I am led. So what a great confirmation about, if you have any confusion about what should I do next, what am I supposed to do with all this, lean toward love and you'll be guided. What a wonderful, wonderful reading. Well, I hope this brought a little bit of hope and light and joy and peace into your moments. And, may your Scorpio month be wonderful, full of just wonderfulness, and it's all up to us on how we're going to choose to look at each situation. So, when in doubt, keep it simple. Every moment's about unconditional love or the fear of losing conditional love, and what are we choosing in that moment? If we don't like what we're feeling, we can change it. That's our power. Boom. Right? And if you like this video, if you want to share it with others, to bring them a little peace or zen, that is awesome. I would love that if you would want to do that. You can also like the video. That helps out my channel. And also, if you want to subscribe, that helps my channel, as well as you'll get notified of any future readings that I do, because I'm doing these much more often than I used to. I just love bringing these messages of love for above. So I appreciate you. Hang in there. And I love you. You take care. All right. Well, happy birthday, all you Sun Scorpios, and any of you rising Scorpios that have a rising sign in Scorpio as well. So happy birthday to you. So this portion is going to be especially for you. And I'm going to use my Oracle deck that I'm working on with the creator, just to kind of give you an overall message for the month for there. And we'll start off by seeing what emotional fire, what emotional heat are you going to be feeling in your birthday month. So we'll start off there and see where we'll go from that point there. Oh, there we go. And as I mentioned, if you're not sure what your rising sign is, I'll put a link down below, but you can get a free birth chart, which is pretty cool. So for your birthday month, the emotional fire is panic, which I understand, you know, like if you listen to the collective reading before this, you know, I can definitely understand, you know, all the things that are happening in our lives that are creating the opportunity for panic, for sure. Whether it's, you know, financial or physical health, or electoral selections, or you know, our social and racial unrest, and you know, what isn't, you know, and then fires and floods and hurricanes and earthquakes, and oh my, there's just so much. So kind of a clear message for all of us this year is the year of panic. Woohoo! But what's wonderful is the creator gives us a way to transform that, in, you know, all that fear into unconditional love and peace and joy. And that's to stop, breathe, and then instead of react, we can choose to respond as we understand what we're fearing, what's going on with that. So that's the start there. That's a 29 on the bottom, which add 9 and 2 together is 11, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So since it's a minus, we'll take 2 from the second stack once I shuffle. And that one is what is sparking the emotional fire. So we'll get a little more information on what is sparking our panic. And I love them because... Yep. Too many cards there, so we'll just do this. If nothing flips out, we'll take 2 from the bottom. Yep, that's what we're going to do. Okay. All right, and this card... Oops. There we go. So this one that's the long list of conditional love laws. And what that is, you know, throughout our life, we're taught, since, you know, pretty much when we start to understand speech, even after that, because it's by praise and punishment that we start to learn what is right and what is wrong. And so we start developing this list, whether it's from parents and then siblings and teachers, and you know, it can be pastors and books and movies and TV and your friends and your friends' families, and everyone has a bunch of information they want you to put on this list of conditions on what makes you lovable and acceptable to receive praise, and what makes you rejectable and punishable through, when you're punished in ways for not meeting these conditional love laws. What's fantastic about that, which, that's what the panic comes from, is we're fearing that something on this list is not being met by us. And we're fearing what will happen to us, or we fear what will happen if others that we love aren't meeting these conditional love laws, and what's going to happen to them. How are they going to be punished? And what does it mean about us if they get punished and I didn't do anything about it? I've got to control them. I've got to make sure they're doing what's right. But what's wonderful is our conditional love law list is different and contradicts other people's conditional love law list. And there's even contradictory things on our own list, That's what creates so much confusion and so much panic and fear. But what's wonderful, and here again, we're given some advice on the bottom, my own adventure map. And what that tells us is that all this information, all these supposed to's and shoulds and needs to's and have to's, all that stuff we've been taught, we can put it to the side and develop our own adventure map, because we're here to experience. So, whether it's an experience of fear or an experience of unconditional love, it's our adventure, and there's no wrong choice. It's just a matter of what do you want to continue to feel and what don't you want to continue to feel. So the message here is, create your own adventure map. Change it from a kind of victim mentality of all this is being forced on me to, what? I'm going to choose my own adventure, and I get to choose it. I get to throw away this boring long list of disappointing rules of how things are all supposed to be, and you get to go on your adventure instead. How wonderful is that? One of the things that, whenever I think of that map too, if you've ever gone to like a theme park or like a zoo or something, and they give you a little map of where everything's at. And I had this vision once of, just someone who was very fearful of that everything had to be perfect, and they planned exactly what we're going to hit and when and what time to have the absolute perfect experience. And that was maybe fun, maybe probably not fun for that person who was planning it all, but definitely not fun for everyone else that person was trying to control everyone on when you're going to have fun and what time and how. So we get to be free and have our own adventure map. Awesome. And since that was a 10 on there, we'll take, and that's a -10, so 1 plus 0 is 1, of course, so we'll take 1 from the bottom of the next stack, which the next stack is called the contrast. And this is what is at the root of the emotions there, so it helps give us a little more clarity as well for your wonderful birthday month. Okay, yep, so I'm going to take 1 from the bottom, which will be this one. And this one is called You Hurt Me. This is actually part of a 3 phases. So what the creator wants to bring to you is the awareness around the manipulation process, is what I call it. And we've all had, it's been handed down for centuries from generation to generation on how to get things our way. And you'll probably recognize that this has been done to you, and you might also recognize when you've done it to others, because it was a big eye-opener when I realized this was one of my favorites. And it starts off with, this is the first part of 3. So it's always when someone's not doing something that we want them to, or things aren't unfolding the way we think they're supposed to, then we take on the victim. We act hurt. We can cry or act sad or down, and we get the attention that we're wanting to get, and either we're hoping someone will come and rescue us, because a victim needs a hero. Someone will come and rescue us and make everything all right. Or if we're using this as a way to try to coerce someone into doing what we want them to do, then you know, the other person may not feel comfortable when someone cries or gets sad or walks out of a room or something, and they'll, okay, I'll do that, and then we have victory. But if that doesn't work, the step 2 out of the 3 of the manipulation process is called bullying. And so we'll get angry and upset and, you know, try to convince someone that way to do what we want them to do. And if that doesn't work, then the 3rd step is rejection. So we'll, you know, give them a cold treatment, not talk to them or hang up on them, or, you know, leave the house, even leave the room. And we're hoping that they care enough about us to not feel they have to win the battle, and they'll give in to us. And then if they don't, if the process 1, 2, and you know, step 1, 2, and 3 don't work, then we rinse, wash, repeat. We'll go back to the, I can't believe you didn't come after me. I can't believe you didn't call me back. You know, and then that doesn't work, and we'll try bullying, rejection, being hurt, getting angry, rejection, and we'll keep doing it. And you'll see it. Once you become aware of this, you can't unsee it. So at the root of this is a fear of, you know, that you're going to be hurt or that you're going to hurt others. And one of the biggest, oh my gosh, one of the biggest ahas I had in my life was that no one can hurt me. No one can make me angry. No one can reject me, because I'm the one who chooses whether I'm hurt or not, whether I'm angry or not, whether I'm rejected or not. And once we realize that all our emotions, all that happens inside us, we get to be free. We get to set everyone else free too. And you know, at first, when I found out that, okay, all these emotional choices I made were mine, it didn't feel very good. But the more I looked at it, and the more as it meshed into my life, I realized I like that, because that gets my power back. No one outside of me can do anything and impact me unless I want it to impact me. Nothing happening outside of me can impact me unless I allow it to impact me. That's very powerful. All right. Enough on that one. Next, there's a total of 7 stacks, just to give you an idea here. So we've got about 4 more to go. The next one is tools of light, and that's what assists you in transforming that fear. So this is a, you know, what can help transform all of this, in addition to the little hints that gave us on the bottom on that. Since that was a 5, we'll take 5 from the top, since it's a positive number, unless a card decides to jump out and should make itself known. Okay, no, we're going to go 5 from the top, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this card is, I unconditionally love the world. What's funny is this came up for the collective reading I did right before this too. So as I mentioned in that, this is a piece of a 4-part meditation, which I'll put in the description box below. But the foundation is, first we realize we're unconditionally loved by the creator of all things. And then, you know, all that love flows down into us to where we realize we're made of unconditional love. We are actually beings of unconditional love. And once that fills up, then we're able to send that love out. It actually flows out to the world. And then the 4th piece is we realize the world is made of unconditional love, and we get love back to us as well. So one of the things that is coming up for this card with regards to, of course, the unconditional love laws, is having our foundation be in unconditional love. And until we are rooted in that, this is what we feel. So I was just reading actually this morning in this book called A Course in Miracles, and it says the answer for all questions is the Holy Spirit, which for me, that means the Holy Spirit is the essence of the Creator. And what is the essence of the Creator? It's unconditional love. That's his love essence, her love essence moving on the earth. So what can help transform all of this, anything into unconditional love, peace, and joy is remembering, 1, that we're unconditionally loved, 2, that we are unconditional love, 3, that we actually unconditionally love the world. Our fear ego may not, but our higher being does. And 4th is that the world, all the characters on this planet, behind them are these actors made of unconditional love. The other thing that they want me to bring up with this about unconditionally loving the world, if you look at yourself as this huge barrel, and if we feel, and it kind of goes back to this too, of if we feel that we have to make everyone else happy, and then that's our responsibility is everyone else's happiness, we feel out of control. We also feel very, very drained, because, when you have this barrel and everyone's plugged in, to the sides of it, sucking all of your energy out of you, you never get full, because everyone, you're giving all your energy to everyone else before you feel full and whole. But if you unplug all that responsibility and just have a solid barrel, as you get filled up with unconditional love, you fill up and everyone else gets the overflow. And that is huge in our society, because that's called selfish. But the greatest gift we can give the world is a healthy, full, overflowing us. Because if we're always being depleted, we're not a joy to be around. We're not at peace. We're not having joy. We're not happy. And then we get resentful that everyone is, slowly eating us away instead. So, we, just disconnect that responsibility for making everyone else, happy, and we get to choose to be happy and joyful and at peace and full of unconditional love, and then it overflows out to everyone else, and then that's just flows out, and we don't feel it's done without expectation, because we're full. We don't need love from the outside, that fake conditional love with all these rules attached to it. We don't need that, because we're full and whole, and we have that unconditional love from above. So excellent. All right, next deck we'll go on to is, this is called the characters. It's like, what characters appear in this act? So this gives us a little more guidance on what's going on in this dramatic act here. It can tell us about a specific people, or it can just tell us about what characteristics are appearing within us or others in there too. And since that was a 20, 2 plus 0 is 2, so we'll take 2 from the top, unless a card makes itself known, of course. All right, we're going to take 2 from the top. We've got 1 and 2. Excellent. This is number 22, which is one of the master numbers, and this is the Sun. And what a wonderful card this is, because it's everything I've been talking about. It's about self-awareness, our higher self versus our ego. We're the masters of our fate. And it's about new expression as we discover the difference between our higher self and our ego. So as I was talking about, conditional love and fear move along this line, and up and down is our higher self. The sun actually rules the zodiac sign Leo. So if the dates 7/23 through 8/22 mean anything significant to you, or for an individual, or if there's a Leo in your life, or if you're a Leo sun and you're doing the Scorpio rising, but that means it brings vitality, life. The sun is about the ego. It's how others perceive us, and what other people see. But it's also about our creativity and how we express ourselves as well as these humans, these powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit beings made of unconditional love, having a human experience walking around in these bodysuits. And I recently kind of got hooked back on the movie Cocoon because of, they were these light beings walking around in human suits. And that is such a good visual representation of, what we are, what we're doing here. And that's that self awareness. So all this is happening to rattle the cages so you can have self-awareness, so that the contrast between the two is so distinct, you can't help but notice. Like I mentioned before, sometimes it takes us not too subtly to be awakened, because we don't do subtle instructions very well. We need to get rattled awake. All right. And then the sixth one is going to be, this is the chakra atlas. Just how does this fit into your spiritual path? So it'll talk about the chakras. And since that was a 22, 2 plus 2 is 4, so we'll take 4 from the top off of this next stack. Oop. All right, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. And this is the third eye chakra, which of course is the most famous chakra of all, because it's the one that everyone talks about, the third eye, and the psychic abilities, the ability to connect to back home. But it's about transforming our truth, is a lot of what the third eye chakra does, because we start to intuitively see, hear, and know things, because when we're looking at the conditional love and the fear and all that, there's so many, we think this is the truth, all these conditional love laws, but when we start to see beyond and above that, that's when we start to see our real truth. And that's where it talks about a theme to, let's see if I can get that, there we go, I understand. These actors act and react for a purpose. So we start to see, oh, all this is a play for us to experience who we are by experiencing who we're not. So when you want to understand unconditional, you put it next to conditional, and then you can see the difference. It's like all these cards. If all this was in white, you couldn't see anything, but because there's some black ink on there, you can see the image. But if everything was white, I can't see the clarity. So clarity comes when we see our shadows. And then I mentioned before, the meditation on I am unconditional love is what you can use to balance the chakra, because as we realize that we are ourselves these spirit beings of unconditional love, it activates all this higher connection and abilities, like our spiritual abilities, our soul gifts, things like that as well. All right, and that was a 39, so that would be 9 and 3 is 12, and 2 and 1 is 3, so we'll take 3 for the top, and the last one, which is, how is unconditional love expressed in our lives and through this situation? So that'll be the last stack, and then we'll do one last little birthday. Oh, one card made itself known, so we'll take this one that fell out. I'm going to pull one last card from the Oracle of the Unicorn, see what unicorns have. Oh, wow. And there you have it. Be love. Be who you are. That's the entire deck is about that, see? Be unconditional love. Be that higher being. Be yourself. Experience life. You know? So, yeah. Every moment is about love. It's either about we're realizing who we are or we're realizing who we're not. How amazing is that? I'm just going to put that one right here. So you can see that there. All right. And then, so this will be the last card that you'll get for your little birthday wish from the unicorns. And we'll see what final message you have. And actually, they just told me they go do this. Conditional. Replace that with be love. All right, what's the final message for our Scorpio Suns and Scorpio Rising? Here we go. It says cycles. Everything has its right time. Honor the cycles of your body. Tune into the moon's magic. Here, I'll do this so in case. There we go. In case you want to stop and read that there too. And I'll put that right here. And I'm going to read from the little book here on the cycles here, just to see what additional message we have for that. Sorry, my fingers are having trouble working. There we go. So if something feels like it's not happening, don't force it. Everything has its time. Everything has its place. This situation will naturally come to fruition when the time is right, whether it is a business project, a relationship, a journey, a contract, or an opportunity. This unicorn has come into your reading to remind you that we are connected with Mother Earth through the natural rhythm of cycles, the ebb and flow of the tides, the waxing and waning of the moon, and for women, the circle of ovulation and menstruation. Look at where you have fallen out of sync with these cycles and to start working with the moon's magic to bring more flow into your life. Instead of always trying to push through life full steam ahead, allow yourself to rest, retreat, and acknowledge your body's calls for gentleness. Then, when the moon waxes again or after menstruation, you can get out there again and be proactive and more social. There is so much magic for you to unlock in your life by honoring these cycles. Buy yourself a moon calendar or note down the different phases for each month. Live in the flow of cycles, and you'll experience the true magic of life. Wow. A nice little message from the unicorns. Moon cycles are so important for us because we're so full of water. Our bodies that, like the tides are influenced by the moon, so are our bodies and our moods, with this human condition. And something I do as well is I usually have a new moon and a full moon readings. So, if you don't want to jot them down and everything, just like and subscribe below and you'll get notified when those are coming up for you as well. But there you go. That is your birthday month reading, Scorpios, or for you rising sign Scorpios. So I hope it brought a little bit of clarity and love and peace just for your, birthday month. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add to all that. Like I mentioned, if you like the video, it helps out my channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Or if you have anybody that has a birthday in Scorpio, feel free to share it with them as well, so they can have a nice little treat. And just remember that you are loved, and you are love. You have a very happy birthday month, and take care. I love you. Hello, all you Scorpio moon signs. This is the reading for you. And I'm actually going to start off by reading from this Moonology or Oracle card guidebook. And I normally just read the full moon in Scorpio, which is a time to release negativity. But I also was felt led this month to also include the new moon in Scorpio. And I normally do readings when these come around as well. But for the new moon, it's work through your fears. So for this month, I'm going to read both of those. It's a little short excerpts in here, so I'll read those. We'll start off with the full moon in Scorpio, which was it's time to release negativity. It says, if you're feeling paranoid and acting weird, take this card as a very direct message from the cosmos to stop it. Worrying yourself is pointless. It's time to release any negativity you have around the situation you're asking about or going through during your Scorpio month. If someone has been unkind to you, perhaps it's time for you to release them. This card heralds an emotionally intense time, since both the full moon and Scorpio themselves are both extremely intense. It's time for you to feel all your feelings. There could be some nastiness in the air when you pull this card, or when you watch this video, of course. If that's the case, take it as a sign to move away from anyone or anything you feel is toxic. For some, however, this card has a totally different meaning. Your sex life can improve now if you make an effort. Use your magic. You have all you need inside you to bring about your desired result. The way you can attune and kind of transform the emotions around that, it says, is to emote. It's all better out than in. So rather than having it all bubble up inside you, it's to share that with someone, to share that with the person that's involved with that. It doesn't mean you have to be, a Scorpio about it and sting, sting, sting. You can try to share it in a gentle way. Additional meanings for this card can also be, it's time to move from living fearfully to living joyfully. And grudges are toxic. Let something go. And it can also represent the end of an argument. It gives a little teaching on the full moon in Scorpio, which kind of gives you a little information about your Scorpio influence. Of course, the full moon in Scorpio has a sting in its tail. It can herald a vindictive end to a relationship. It can also be a time when we want to be good, but we're naughty. If you pull this card, no matter when, your dark side and your shadow self may be showing. The full moon in Scorpio is also a time of magic. If you were thinking of making some magic, this is your sign to do it. So, good messages there. It's, and especially during everything that's been going on this year, we can allow everything to become, negative to us and be, a reflection. The shadow self, like it talked about, is showing us the darker side of things, the fear side of any situation. But what's great is that in order for there to be a shadow, there has to be light. You see, like even with my hands, if there If there was no light, you couldn't see this shadow of my hand, but because there's light this way, casting this shadow. So in a way, you can just realizing that there's light. Whenever there's shadow, there's always light around somewhere. We just have to turn around and see it. And then I'll do the new moon as well. And the new moon was work through your fears. So this card suggests a rebirth. Think of your situation as the phoenix that rising from, I apologize. Let me reread that. Think of your situation as the phoenix that's rising from the ashes, as the birth, death, rebirth paradigm. That's what Scorpio energy is all about. Whatever you've been through, there's a new start ahead. It might be a little dark. It almost certainly won't be rainbows and unicorns, but it will be deep and transforming. This card also suggests that if you know you are magical, then this is the time to work your magic. It can also herald the start of a sexier time. If you've been experiencing something of a drought, and emotional intimacy is also on the menu. Scorpio is the sign that likes to go deep into body, mind, and spirit. So when this card comes up in your life, there's nothing superficial about what's coming your way. Wow. And then it talks about how to tune with the new moon is have some sexy time, whether that's, the intimacy with other people, but even just feeling sexy, feeling powerful, feeling magical, allowing yourself to be you and just to let yourself flow as well. And then additional meanings for this card as well for the new moon is it's time to let go of a grudge you're holding, move on from jealousy, stop being obsessive. Could it be you're being paranoid? Also make an investment. So the teaching behind this one is that Scorpio is the sign of death and rebirth, magic and shamans. Its energy is a little bit dark, occult, and sometimes even scary, but not all of us like to face the shadow. Scorpio kind of demands it. In fact, it's through working through your dark side that you get to the light. And the new moon in Scorpio suggests you need to do that now. So maybe that's why I was drawn to bring this card to you today, which I normally wouldn't talk about the new moon in these readings for the moon sign. But yeah, maybe it's time to look at all the stuff that's been, coming about, to look at your shadow side and go, what am I afraid of? What does all this mean? And maybe it's time to dig into it and just to forgive, which doesn't mean you forget, but it's like letting the wrath go, letting other people be who they are, because, they're acting the way they are because they have beliefs that they do. When we think a certain way, we have no choice but to act on those thoughts. Because if we believe something, especially if it's in fear, that's how we react. We just don't. I was talking to my friend, my roommate the other day, because we were talking about how sometimes you're seeing just people screaming at each other, with politics or masks, or, people yelling at people because they are wearing a mask, people yelling at people because they aren't wearing a mask, just all this stuff happening. And we're like, you know what? When people are acting out of fear, they're out of their minds. Literally, because when you look into the fight or flight impacts, the blood actually rushes from our brain and it doesn't want us to think. So we are being thoughtless. We are being out of our minds because our body doesn't want us to think, now, is that a dangerous saber-toothed tiger or a kind? And then we get eaten. It wants us just to and run. So when we're in fear, we have no way to do that. So when we're in our shadow side, we have these beliefs, and when we're in fear, we have no choice but to act on those. until we can come to a place of calm and question why, what am I afraid of? What is my shadow? And let me convert that into light. And then you don't have those triggers, at least to the extreme you had before. And through time, you might not even trigger anymore. So, all right. So enough of that there. I'm going to give you a card as well from this Queen of Moon Oracle here. See what additional message the Creator might have for you. For the Scorpio Moon babies. All right, so what additional message do you have? Okay, that's too many. I know you probably want a lot of messages. Yeah, let's clarify, let's be specific for our Scorpios. Oh my goodness. It is just going crazy everywhere. That must be the crazy energy that's going on there. What's funny, because when I was started to read that one, it was about rebirth and the phoenix starting over, and I had to restart a sentence because I couldn't clarify it. Say it clearly. Ah, there we go. Ah, there we go. Patience. It's number 36. It's the green corn moon. So just let you see that full picture, because that is pretty amazing. It's like a portal. I'm just going to read from that book a little bit here too, because these are pretty short. Yeah, patience. So enjoy the journey, not just the destination. The time has come to learn patience and avoid the lure of instant gratification. Slow down. Take your time. Things are happening. You just can't see it yet. Be loving and patient with your body. And the little phrase it has is, I take my time to enjoy the journey. It says patience is a kind of faith in foreseeing. We might see the seed, but we foresee the flower. We might see the books on the table, but we foresee the degree at the end if we read them. If we think physically, we might feel the pain of a hard workout, but foresee and have faith in the muscle and fitness levels we will build. Patience is a way of experiencing the process of fruition. For some of us, we choose what is quick and easy. We may choose activities we know that we'll be good at. These require no big process, no great challenge over time, and so no great achievement even if we are good at them. More difficult is a kind of patience and mastery, where the skills of learning take time to accrue, and that is where the beauty of patience is born. When we truly realize the power of patience, we understand the power of gaining something incredibly deep and embedded, rather than the quick hit of instant gratification. There is great power in going slow. There is also the lifelong benefit of the power of trusting that you can hold a focus for a time for something big. For some of us, learning a physical skill enables us to fall in love with our bodies again, seeing it change and try over and over. We recognize its magnificence in all its weirdness, wonkiness, strength, weakness, and inherent wisdom. We get to feel the process and the miracle. And if our body doesn't quite get it and we run out of patience, well, nasty self-talk is the last thing I would throw at it. After all, my body is not my enemy. Instead, I throw compassion and trust at it. The compassion that it is doing its best right now, and the trust that it will get me to where I want to go, even if that is eventually. I've learned to be patient. The green corn moon encourages us to watch for growth and enjoy patiently the journey of growth. While we may not yet be at fruition, we are on the way. Wow. Great messages there for sure. And then lastly, I'm going to give you a little chakra love to send you on your way into your Scorpio Moon month. Let's see what additional last message. Oh, there we go. Manifestation is the fruition of confidence and belief. I think this is talked about fruition, didn't it? This is the solar plexus chakra. And I'm actually going to be doing a solar plexus reading here in a bit. So that'll be posted here probably within the next week. So be on the lookout for that too. If you enjoyed these readings today, I would appreciate it if you feel like clicking the little like button down below. That just helps out my channel and impacts algorithms and all sorts of fun stuff. And if you want to share this with anybody that you know has a Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Rising, Scorpio Moon, or for the collective reading, please feel free to share these videos as well. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see any additional other videos that I'll be putting out soon, because you get a little alarm that I've posted. So I definitely hope this has brought some joy and some peace and some unconditional love into your day and into your month. And I just appreciate you, watching, and hang in there. I know this has been a fun year, but just know that you are loved and you got this. Fist bump. You take care.